I just believe in the process, and we're going to win going through the process.
Now, Bills Mafia, it's time for the main event. So sit back and enjoy the show.
Bills Mafia, welcome to the review show of the Red, White and Buffalo Blues, UK Bills podcast, Bills news with the UK twist, and we go into bye week as a 4-2 team. What I will say is our season will not be decided by a Monday night in Nashville. Alex, how are you doing? How are you feeling? You recovered? All that jazz. What are you feeling?
I slept well. I woke up. I wasn't tired. I wasn't angry. I kind of carried the same energy that I had if we would have lost to Kansas City.
Okay.
It's week 5/week 6, the two games. A loss here doesn't kill us. I know I said that on the preview show, losing to an AFC team isn't ideal. Here's a team that could compete for a playoff spot, but I'm pretty sure that we're locked in for the AFC East. It doesn't hurt too much. It's just one of those games, we all knew that we weren't going to win every game. We know that Tennessee,
well, you were.
You thought we were going to go 17-0?
No, I thought we'd at least go, I think it was like 15-2 or something like that.
Yeah. So how about 14-3? Whatever. No, I think it's probably, we lose 4 games this season now. Hell, even if it's 5, what's 12-5? How bad? It's not bad.
Number 1 seed. That's what.
Sure. I don't know. I'm just not ready to expect that. I never want to. I don't want to be the person who expects the world. I leave a large margin of error in all of my predictions because there's so many things that are fluky, like that Derrick Henry touchdown, the holding, that shit happens. But yeah, I mean, honestly, you didn't reach out to me at all yesterday. How are you doing? I figured we would rock this out yesterday. Did you not sleep well or something? Were you angry?
Oh no, I got a couple hours sleep, but I was actually trying to start a freaking car. Just changing some fucking tires was so bloody difficult. Still not been done.
Mate, you don't know how to change a tire?
No. I need to get 4 new tires.
Okay.
Mine are just pretty much one of them's got a nail, and 3 of them are pretty much on the legal limit.
Okay.
But when to go get them changed, I need a specific wheel lock and key. And I'm just thinking, why can't you just do it? No, you need a unique one. I'm thinking, fucking hell.
That's weird.
Phoning dealerships up and trying to get that sorted. It still hasn't been done. That's why we didn't do it yesterday.
What's the biggest question here? Is it coaching? Is it the defense? Is it? I mean, those are really only the 2 things, right? I got a sleeper issue. I don't want to be critical of the offense for scoring 31 points. I don't want to be critical of Allen. He had a great game, but that deep shot to Sanders in the 4th quarter, I think was unnecessary because I saw Beasley and I saw Diggs wide open short. That's kind of a drive where you want to just eat clock. Instead, we punted away quite quickly. What's your biggest issue / reason for the loss?
That we just couldn't execute plays properly. We had the first few drives. Mm-hmm. We were doing these quick releases, actually getting the ball out quite quickly. We did that well. We got some success with it. Then we went back to Josh pretty much holding it for so long and actually making some decisions to actually roll out or actually dump it off, where it caused us problems. And obviously we got a couple of sacks out. We lost a couple of sacks for it, lost positions and all that. But once we got that quick game going, that quick passes, slot out, then that's really where we got Tennessee on the had them on the ropes.
Mm.
If we had put those out a little bit more and actually just challenged this team, then we probably would have won this quite comfortably. The fact
What do you mean
that
challenge them? I'm pretty sure we challenged them.
yeah, but we've left points on that board. Especially in the first half, we left points on the board, and the drives that we've had, they started to slow down and stutter towards the third, fourth quarter, where we're punting the ball back and not giving our defense time to rest. And
Yeah,
when you've got the likes of Derrick Henry,
0 points in the fourth quarter does hurt. We only had the 2 drives because our defense just couldn't stop them in the fourth quarter. Tennessee dominated ball control in the fourth quarter. Yeah,
because the offense was starting to actually try and go for the long balls, try and go for the more difficult ones, rather than actually sticking to a game plan of actually what they did in the first quarter, where they actually put up some decent yardage.
Yeah,
the fact that they slowed down and stalled quite often meant that our defense was actually was still a bit gassed. And when you've got Derrick Henry,
yeah,
and obviously AJ Brown had a good game in that second half after being held in the first half with no catches.
Yeah,
You're then gassing. This defense is gassed, and you need that offense just to rely a little bit more on the game. And this is where the running game comes into it. We were not effective at running the ball.
we were early. Singletary had, I think, like 5.2 yards per carry, something really good. Singletary was the hot hand in this game, and they went away from it. And that kind of bothers me to see his early success, and then we got away from it. But yeah, it was only the one field goal in the first quarter. The second field goal came early in the second. But yeah, those were the game. That's the game. When we kicked the second one, I'm like, that needed to be a touchdown. And I know that one was derailed a little bit by a holding call. The first one was 4th and 3, 4th and 2, something like that. 4th and manageable. And obviously early in a game, you don't know where it's going to go. So you just take early points, or do you... Every game we've played with the Titans hasn't really been like, a back and forth. So maybe you're thinking points here. We know we like our defense. Let's just trust our defense. But yeah, that defense, I don't want to say they didn't show up, because bar that long Henry run, they held him to like 3.8 yards per carry. And obviously you can't say that. It's like, you can't say things like, oh, well, if you didn't have this player, or, oh, if that play didn't happen. Well, it did. That play did happen. And who's to say Poyer even makes that tackle, because Henry is a steam train. You can't stop that.
It was held as well.
Well, yeah, but I'm saying if he wasn't held, Henry has, he's a Mack truck.
Well, yeah, I get that, but he may have made at least.
He might slow him down. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. It's just,
and then that would give a bit more chance. But
I just hate all this. I guess that's what a review show is, though, isn't it? Could have done that, should have done this, would have done that, and it's so frustrating to do that, because we can't go back in time and change it. There's nothing we can do about it. And comparatively to a team that would be on the bubble, these things would have bothered me more. But I know that we're going to win our next 5 games. So I don't really care that much.
Oh yeah, we've got pretty much a very easy schedule coming up. What Dolphins, Jags, Jets? There's your momentum swing right there. Going into what game is it?
And then
it's Saints. Is it Saints? No, Colts and Saints.
Yeah. I mean, if this is going to be another Cardinals game where we come out angry, I think that we put up 50 our next game. Let me see exactly.
Well, you definitely do that against the Jaguars.
Well, yeah, I mean, well, hey, Miami could be, 40. Jacksonville could be, and the Jets, the Colts, the Saints, Patriots. Yeah, I mean, that's 5-6 wins. And, I think, but I mean, obviously by that time, the taste of this game will be out of everyone's mouths. Let's obviously talk about the last play. It's like 70-30. I agree with it. I mean, not me. Obviously, I agree with it. The majority of Bills Mafia, I think, 70-30 agree with the call. You coach football, obviously a different version. What do you do there?
Well, to be honest, I would be one of the ones that you'd be damned if you do, damned if you don't. I would go for the field goal. I'd also go for the 4th and 1. It just depends on how manageable game was. I mean,
you can't go for both. You just said I would go for the field goal. I would go for it on 4th and 1. What is it? I don't know what that means.
Well, where was the drive? Where was that 4th down, the first down marker?
It was at like the 5. It was like at the 3-yard line.
Did we have a timeout left?
Well, I think we must have already taken it. I mean,
because that's the only thing that would make me make my decision. If we get a yard and we still had a couple of yards to go to actually get the touchdown and we had timeout, I would have gone for the 4th.
Well, that's the thing. It was 4th and 1. It wasn't even 4th and goal, which was great. You know,
yeah.
So I think that's why we do it. If it's 4th and goal, we obviously kick the field goal. I hate those jumbo packages. I prefer my QB sneaks to be when it's 5 wide, you know, really spread out the defense and then let Allen kind of run to where there's a hole in the D line. That's my preferred, because I think he runs in for a touchdown if we do that.
Yeah, as I say, I would have gone for the 4th and 1. They would have it's a case of mixing the play up, because everyone knows now that when you're fourth and very, very short, 4th and 1, and you've got Allen behind quarter, he's going to sneak like that. Maybe even try and get a roll out or get a fake in there. But
yeah, well, it was a different play.
He usually runs behind Morse, isn't it? He usually runs behind Morse.
I think he usually takes. I usually think he takes it to the right side of Morse.
Yeah, so Morse.
Early on in the game, when we went for it on 4th down, he went the left side, and he did. Maybe it was 3rd and 1, but early on in the game, he went for it on short, and he went left side and got blown up because Dawkins and Feliciano just got destroyed. And that's exactly what happened this time too. So it's weird that we went to the same side.
Yeah.
But I liked how they started the play. They started the play in shotgun, making the defense think that, all right, he's not going to sneak it. And then he comes under center, but it's just like they were ready for that. And that's really frustrating. I would have liked to see Allen check out of that, maybe. Yeah,
and that's where play calling comes in. Obviously, they're letting Allen have more and more. Excuse me,
professional.
It gives Allen more and more chance to actually play the field, actually make the calls. But yeah,
they have all the trust in the world in him. Yeah, so do I.
They should at least. What I probably was saying is the ball give him 3 plays, so at least you could have 2 extra check down. Because it may have been a case he mainly had this one, and if you want to change it to a sneak, change to a sneak. Maybe they should have had like three plays in there, so Allen could then check it depending on what the defense gave him. Obviously, we knew.
It could be. I mean, I think in most quarterbacks,
playing devil's advocate. Obviously, we don't know what goes on in the earpiece between DeBall and Allen, but if they had an extra play on there, maybe they could confuse him. I mean, even if they ran that 2-point play, the 2-point play when Knox passed it to.
Well, you're not going to do that again.
Yeah, I know, but something like that. For that, if you know it's the last few seconds, and you've got a few yards to do, maybe pull out a trick play like the 2-point conversion type play. That was done from what? A couple more yards out further.
The 2-point conversions go from the 3. It's the old extra point line.
So why not?
So it just in its most rudimentary phase, you're McDermott. You don't have to make the play call. You have to make the decision. Go for it or kick it. What do you choose?
In this instance, I probably would have gone for it.
Okay. I mean, that's the right thing to do. Absolutely. I mean,
if it was a bit further out, So say if it was at the 10-yard line,
Well,
we had to
yeah,
get
I
to the
mean,
9-yard
obviously,
line.
don't.
They kick the field goal.
Yeah, yeah. I mean,
But
yeah,
from the position,
anything. Yeah, you can create a hypothetical in any situation there. I think the most damning thing about it all is the fact that you can't take that risk going into overtime. Seeing that graphic about Derrick Henry's yards per carry as the game goes on, unbelievable. You know, it's like 3.2, 4 point something. Then in the fourth quarter, he's got like 5.8 yards per carry. I don't want to see that guy again. I mean, I've loved him for the last 3-4 years now. I try and get him in fantasy whenever I can. Because I mean, how many running backs are a lock for like 2,000 yards every season? I mean, he's the only one. It's unbelievable what he's able to do. And it's a travesty that the league doesn't respect the position enough. He was my NFL MVP last year, and he is right now as well. And it's not even close. I don't care what Kyler Murray is doing. For what he can do for a running back to control a game like that, to be as frightening a player as that, that's QB pressure that on a defense, but from the running back position, it's unbelievable. So all the respect in the world for that. But I mean, let's stick with the defense now that we're both in agreement that they should have went for it. I'm glad that they did. Sucks they didn't get it. I mean, I guess the last point about that is seeing Dawkins and Feliciano just get absolutely eaten alive on that play. There hasn't been a complaint about Dawkins at all this season. I think maybe he's gotten beat like 2-3 times all season. He hasn't been an issue. It just sucks that it happened on that play. That's the thing. That's the flukiness of the NFL. Sometimes these things just happen. I mean, he's let 12 of 14 on 4th and 1 sneaks. Of course you take those odds. And we didn't get it, and that's what it is. But I mean, you're not gonna overreact to our offensive line play, are you?
Not as much, no. I mean, it would be a case there's definitely going to be work to do in the off season. That's for sure. I
see that. Yeah, I see Feliciano and Williams being gone.
I don't know. Williams actually seems to be holding his own at guard.
Yeah,
which is good because you spend again. This is going to be talk for a little further in the season, maybe in bye week and all that sort of stuff as well. But you're looking at at least one guard to come in and start. So maybe round 1 or round 2, get that guard to come in, start left, and then
free agent possibly. I don't think you want to. If you're trying to win a Super Bowl, I don't think you're putting a rookie on the offensive line.
Oh no,
we are now with Spencer Brown, of course. Yeah, more out of necessity because Cody Ford's just completely in the doghouse. But
if we can find that one that we can pretty much plug and play, another one that we can develop. You've got Williams and Brown seem to be having a good relationship that side.
Yeah,
Morse, providing he can stay away from concussions.
Sure.
You've got him good for another year or two, maybe draft someone in the next year to be his eventual air replacement on there. You've got Dawkins who, he's probably still recovering a little bit from COVID. He may have long COVID.
I don't think so. No, I think he's fine. It's just that one play.
He may have long COVID as well because he hasn't been at his dominant best.
Really? I think he has. I mean, I haven't been saying anything about him all season except for this one play. So,
well, there was another game where he gave up a couple of quarterback pressures.
If it's 2 in one game, then that's fine. You know, if it's 5 or 6 on the season, maybe there's an issue there. But I don't think he's been that bad at all. I think it's like 2 or 3 on the season.
I think we do have our strongest O-line out there. Those 5 are our strongest on there.
Yeah.
It's the depth I'm worried about. So that's why you look in the off season. That's why you look in the off season, draft, free agent, see if we can get that guard, even if it's a plug and play guard, to even spell Darrell Williams and all that. But that's seriously somewhere where we've got to look at. But the one thing that did is obviously and is annoying about this offense as well. I think you mentioned it with some of the passing on there.
You're annoyed with our offense.
Well, they Titans were out Christian Fulton. They had what's the guy? The Jackson's it on and off a little bit. That secondary Bard was actually weak.
Allen threw for 300 yards and we scored 31 points.
Yeah, but still, they made plays, didn't they? They still made plays on that defense, and it's a team.
Yeah, they're trying to win the game too. You can't expect a touchdown on every drive. You can't.
I'm not expecting a touchdown on every drive. This is what I told you when we had that conversation. I'm not expecting a touchdown on every drive. I'm expecting them to move the chains a lot more than actually try and take big shots down the line, right back in your own half to try and get the other side. If it ends up in an interception down at the 10, I would take that because you've given away crap field position. You've given away obviously crap field position if it was returned, but you give them bad field position from where they actually caught the interception. But the fact is that I don't expect a touchdown on every drive. I expect them to at least get into like midfield so they can actually do a punt to try and keep it down a little bit more. Because if you punt from your own 30, especially with we haven't got Corey Bojorquez anymore, I'm not expecting every single time for that punt to sail and land inside the 15.
We had 1 3-and-out all game, barring the one drive where we threw the interception. But we also got an interception, so I think that balances that out. I think I mean, if that's what your issue is, I mean, I think that's expecting too much. I mean, the first drive went for 6 minutes in the Bass field goal. The next drive was a 3-and-out. Then the next drive was into the second quarter. That took 5 minutes. That was a field goal. Then our second drive in the second quarter was 4 minutes. That ends in a touchdown. Then there was the interception on the next one, and then another touchdown drive to start the second half. The Tyler Bass 52-yard field goal, that one kind of hurt. Would have liked to see us get that 3rd and 6 there. Momentum's a big part of that too, I guess. But again, we got points on that drive. Next offensive drive, Tommy Sweeney touchdown. But yeah, the most difficult drive was our first drive in the fourth quarter, starting at our own 25. We get it only up to our 30 and we punt, and it was a shitty 40-yard punt. And that kind of hurt. A few incomplete. Yeah, that was the incomplete. That was the deep incomplete to Sanders, which sucked. And then 3rd and long to Kumro wasn't even close. Allen took a sack there. I can't fault him for having 1 bad drive, 2 bad drives in a whole game. Again, we scored 31 points. You score 31, you win the game. I'm not going to be critical overly of the offense in this game. We need to talk about the defense, whom we all thought arrived, right?
Yep.
They didn't. I mean, Tannehill had his way with us in the second half, which was just disgusting because, like, Tannehill. Yeah, I mean, the emergence of A.J. Brown in the second half was, he must have drank a lot of Pedialyte to get ready for that second half. Derrick Henry obviously had wheels and gas that our defense didn't. I want to say Taron Johnson and Levi Wallace had a god-awful game in that second half, just not being able to cover out of the zone. Not making plays out of the zone really hurt us. That we went to a zone and we bit on play action hard. We didn't get any pressure. I mean, last week we talked about how great this defensive line is. We talked about, they can rotate guys and guys can make plays. And then a game like this happens where, Epinesa gets the healthy scratch. Milano doesn't look 100%. We get no pressure on the team that has given up the most sacks in the league. Are you telling me that you're more disappointed in the offense than the defense?
In a sense, a little bit. I just like winding you up as well. That's another that's another reason I do it, because I know how easily you get wound up about it.
I do hate it when people disagree with me. My wife and I talk about this all the time. I have
Then
to
again,
understand
usually when I do
have
that, usually
views.
when we disagree, we put Twitter, and Twitter always agrees with me.
Oh, I don't think they would agree with you this time.
But no, I agree. I agree. My feeling in that is I know every game they talk about the different type of game plan, like obviously with the Chiefs, you're going to look to try and get the pass rush going a lot more than you are going to stop the run a little bit.
Mm.
This way, I think it was the other way around. They believe that they had enough depth or enough play in the secondary to actually do the coverage that they want to stop the run. Hence why Epinesa was a scratch, and they played Boogie Basham, who for a second round pick hasn't really.
No, Basham was scratched too, I believe.
Was he scratched?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I'm thinking of. Okay. I thought he wasn't scratched. I thought he was a hefty play.
Let me double check. I mean,
Yes.
I didn't see him out there.
I mean, okay, then obviously then Vernon.
Inactives.
Well, then it must have been Butler then that was playing, because from my understanding is that they had the game plan to try and at least contain Henry, and then allow Tannehill to or struggle a little bit.
No
with
Bash.
No Basham.
No Bash.
Who was the inactives again? Sorry.
Oh, I'm just looking at the snap count, and he's not on there.
Okay.
I'm on Pro Football Focus. They don't have the list of inactives.
That's fair enough, but I think it's just the way they actually designed it. I think next week against the Dolphins, you're probably going to see a little bit more of the pass rush on there. Jaguars and Jets, you're going to see more and more pass rushes. So you're going to see the guys that mean there against the run that actually sit out a lot more. But I think in a way, yes, I'm disappointed that we didn't get any sacks where the Jets have got 7 sacks on Tannehill, but they're more of a rushing team than actually stopping the run at the moment. Because how much did Henry gash him for in that game? They gashed him for quite a lot.
Yeah, Henry got him. I mean, he hasn't had a bad game all year.
Yeah, until he faced us, bar that one.
He had 157 against the Jets. He had 130 against Jacksonville, 143 against us, 182 against Seattle. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, but how many of those actually? I mean, if we talk about, try and break it down to rush for me.
What do you mean?
It's just rushing yards.
That's what I just did.
So he got 154 rushing yards against us. Oh yeah.
143 against us.
Oh, yeah. Sorry.
130 versus Jacksonville, 157 against the Jets, 113 against Indy, 182 against Seattle.
So how many of those teams, take out the Bills, how many of those teams really are ones that actually can play the run on defense quite well?
Indy was supposed to have a good defense, and they haven't.
So most of those relying on their pass rush. That's why Henry's gashed. Obviously, we have that one play where Henry did get the 74-yard touchdown. It came because the rest couldn't see a hold. Other than that, we held Henry to under 70 yards, what his average pretty much is against the Bills. So it's the game plan that they had set up. Maybe they should have dropped, and I'm going to say it's Obada for Epinesa, or where's the roster? Here's the roster. They had.
I saw Obada in coverage on one play, and that was really weird looking.
But yeah, they dropped him just for another one out. But I think it's just the way they actually game plan. They want to try and stop the run, and they were confident on the back end. But
well, again, we didn't lose because of that one play. We lost because in the second half, we couldn't stop them at all. They go out there, score a touchdown with Henry. They go out there and they kick a field goal, and then Derrick Henry touchdown. And that was the whole. I mean, they had long drives in the second half. They marched easily. I mean, here's one that started with 10 minutes left in the third quarter and ended with 4 minutes. So they have a massive drive there that ends in a touchdown. And then we score to go up, but then they just go right back down the field, kick a field goal from our 20. And then that was then we have the bad deep throw. And then the next drive,
the
next here it is. I mean, it's just Tannehill short pass 14, Tannehill short pass 22, Tannehill 5, Tannehill pass 8. Whoever this Westbrook Ikini is, I mean, just god awful pass defense in the second half is the reason why we lost this game. No other reason. No pass rush, no pass defense in the second half. And
the one major thing that probably did it is the Andre Smith apparent hold.
It wasn't apparent. It was an obvious hold.
Really?
Yes.
I didn't see it as an
absolutely.
I didn't see it more as a hold than the guy on Poyer for Henry touchdown.
No, yeah. I mean, that was still a hold. It's Poyer beat his man and tried to disengage the block. When you disengage when the defender tries to get out of, like turns away from the block, you have to disengage or else you're holding. You're grabbing something, you're turning them. You can't turn them. And Andre Smith's defender went to go turn to chase, and he held on. And when you hold on, you turn a guy. That's why his arm went that. You can see it on the replay. I'm glad we didn't score that touchdown, though. Because of time. If we score that touchdown, Tennessee has time and all the ability in the world. They showed it in the second half to march and score a touchdown to win the game. We did everything right. We started from our own 18, marched down the field to the 3, ate up the whole 3 minutes of the clock, and just unfortunately didn't score. Everything went right there. So I'm not upset about the penalty on that kickoff at all, because I'd rather have us with the ball with 3 minutes left versus them with the ball with 3 minutes left.
So anything else before we go to fan views and questions?
Yeah, you're not upset about the defense. I still just don't understand. It's like
I didn't say I was not upset about this defense.
Okay, 34 points against Tennessee. They lost to the Jets. No pass rush.
Oh yeah, no, I get that. There's causes to be concerned, but it's like you said in the preview show. Would you rather have this type of game against Titans and early to bring you back down from that Chiefs game? I'm turning your stuff you said in the preview.
I know we talked about. Would you rather have Allen have a good game and we lose versus we lose and we win and Allen have a bad game? And I could have swore I said that I'd rather we have a good game and Allen just has a bad game and still win.
I think that's the question I asked you. I think you we could always go back on that, but
yeah.
It's the fact that
Bills Mafia had a lot of comments about this game too that I think we want to get to, right?
Yeah, I mean it's something that really is a question, something that really opens up your thoughts. I mean, what we've got mainly most of them are on Twitter.
Well, here, let me. What you just said made me think of a question.
Okay.
Does this game create a worry for you going forward?
No.
Okay.
This is schedule.
And I think that's important. That's where we all should.
I'm doing it based on the schedule. The only ones that's going to really work against us is more likely going to be the Bucks game. Other than that, this schedule was probably one of the easiest schedules that we've got remaining. I think it is the easiest schedule remaining, and most of these
in the league, yes,
offenses we're going to be facing are going to be lower down with less weapons.
Yeah.
Than AJ Brown, Julio Jones, and Derrick Henry, which, to be honest, that Tennessee offense should be middle to top of the league. In fact,
absolutely, I could see them finishing in the top 15. They're going to win their division, so yeah.
The fact that they had injuries was the reason why they were that low down overall in offense, because they were relying on Henry.
So that's a good point. When they lost Taylor Lewan, I was like, okay, we can finally get in there, and we didn't, and that sucks.
But yeah, so I'm not concerned that this result is going to go downhill. It's going to get team downhill. I think we've got enough on us in the schedule wise.
Yeah.
To go up.
Yeah.
So let's get on to these questions. So
Yep.
first one
You
on
got the
Twitter
one up
is
from Facebook. You get that one, yeah.
Yeah, I got the one that we actually on Facebook. So on Twitter, we had Alison Court. She goes, Josh was off all night, bad play calls at the end. I mean, a truly obvious bad play call since nearly Josh was rough net. Hold on, I can't read to save my life at the moment.
Josh was off all night. Bad play calls at the end, and I mean truly obvious bad play calls since clearly Josh was rough. Nailed the coffin shut. How many Titans players went out with injuries and the Bills still couldn't get it done? I don't agree that Josh was off all night. I mean, 107.8 passer rating, 35 of 47 for 353. That's not off all night. I'm sorry. I can't agree with that. But the point about Titans players being out and we still couldn't get it done, that's a big point.
Yeah. That's a point where I say they were out Fulton. They had, I think they're down to third, fourth string cornerbacks.
Mm-hmm.
And this is the point I was trying to make earlier with this offense and not taking advantage of the fact that their top two cornerbacks were actually out of action.
We did. 353.
Yeah.
3 touchdowns, 31 points.
We're averaging 35 points a game.
And we scored 31.
Under our average.
The offense is not the reason why we lost this game, people. Come on. Don't do this to me. We give up 34 points to Ryan Tannehill.
Okay, right.
That's the problem here.
Let's go to the second one.
All right.
We'll get you calm down.
You read it. I need to breathe. I'm sorry.
So Chad Southam said, frustration that it came down to the slip of the boot.
Yeah.
Having thought about it, I'm not mad at the call on 4th and 1. We all complained when we took the field goal in the AFC game last year. We just have to get better. It should never come down to the final play tonight.
Absolutely. Those early field goals that we kicked, if those are touchdowns, we obviously, have this game well in hand. We kicked field goals early, and that's why we ended up in the situation that we were in. So if it's anything, it's coaching in that situation.
Offense leaving points on the board. BP on Twitter. We made a lot of good plays, but missed too many crucial red zone chances. Red zone offense not as good as it was last year, and that played into Titans' hands. A close game where it thrived. And obviously, they're really up for this game. Their pressure forced key mistakes, and their offense was really efficient, just disappointing. Offense, red zone. Last year, we were one of the best red zone offense teams in there. This year, we're like middle of the run, lower of the run.
Yeah.
Team. So
I can't argue that. I can't argue that.
And that's why they're leaving points on the board.
They scored 31 points. They scored 31 points.
That's gonna be the tagline for this episode. They scored 31 points.
And we're picking on them. I can't. What is like the average points for in a game? Let me find that out. I mean, I'm sure we're above average. Oh, it's okay. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. Okay. It's okay. Next comment, please.
Next one. You had time to calm down now. Okay. Next one is from Sam Batten. It's refs picking and choosing their calls, but shit happens. Not going to win every game, especially when facing Derrick Henry. Showed intent rather go for the win than let it go to a coin toss. Good time to go into a bye week before playing the Dolphins. Or Dolphins, it's supposed to be. Put an L instead of a D.
Sorry, I wasn't listening. I was looking up red zone percentages. It's bad. Like, where do you think we are in the league? What rank?
Red zone percentage?
Yeah. What rank?
22nd.
We are 26th.
That's close.
29 red zone attempts, only 16 red zone touchdowns. The Saints lead the way, 14 attempts, 13 touchdowns. Of teams with 20 or more, Baltimore has 21 attempts, 15 touchdowns for 71%. That's where we need to be. We got to be top 10 in red zone to win games that like this. So
they may have put 31 points up, but the offense still has a bit of concern with the red zone. The narrative. But yes, no, let's go back. Let's get this one done. So refs picking and choosing their calls, but shit happens. Not going to win every game, especially when facing Derrick Henry. They showed intent rather than go for the win, then let it go to a coin toss. Good time to go into a bye week before playing the Dolphins.
I think he did lolfins on purpose. You know, LOL fins. Yeah, I see.
Oh yeah,
I see that. Yeah, I like that. I'm a fan of that. Yeah, and that's the thing too. I mean, we don't see it when a call goes in our favor. You know, we tend to put the blinders on for that. So in situations where calls aren't in our favor, of course, we're going to make a deal about it. But I mean, at the end of the year, I think it balances itself out. So shit happens. That's what this game was.
And last one on Twitter is from Grogu Bills Mafia.
Grogu
from
The Mandalorian.
He goes, bad O-line, bad D-line, blown calls reffing did, blotched the end coaches did.
See now, so
O-line was
he thinks it was a botched call. That's interesting. He did not like the 4th and 1, it looks like.
Yeah. But there's stuff on there which I kind of agree on. The last one, possibly not. The botched coaches, but
yeah,
I agree with the other stuff.
I did want to early on. I wanted to complain about the O-line. There were some situations where Josh was being pressured, but you know, that's just the other team trying to win the game too. And I think that, you know, he wasn't in too much duress all game, and we know that Josh Allen under pressure is money. You know, he made an unbelievable throw across his body to Cole Beasley in the game to pick up a big first down. So just the O-line just didn't show up. If I'm going to create an issue, if I'm going to create a stir, it's that when Allen makes that play, that scramble and that dive for the first down, it comes up just a wee bit short. You know, he went Superman again. You know, it's like what he did against Kansas City. It's like what he did against Dallas. It's like what he did against Minnesota. You know, he put the team on his back. And then for the O-line to not show up on the next play kind of bothers me. Like you just saw your quarterback risk his life for this first down, taking on 3 Titans players, and then your job is to block your one guy and you don't. That just sucks.
I've got one more fan view. Is from Facebook. It's from Sean Mallon. Goes, going into a bye week, that was a poor call. They will trot out to the lines about trusting your players. How about trusting the kicker to take it into overtime? Trusting your D in overtime. Bills put too much faith in the analytical department, but it wasn't needed there. I like McDermott, but I think the call sucks some air out of the franchise and boosted the Titans.
Sucks air out of the franchise. Wow, this guy is overreacting. Sorry, I don't want to be too much of a hater here, but you want to talk about trusting your players? You have a lorry of a quarterback and you don't trust him to get 1 yard. I do. You do, right?
Yeah.
It's just he didn't get it. I mean, that's just, you know, the way it goes sometimes. But as we said, it's 12 out of 14 times he's made that play. You absolutely trust the analytics because I don't trust our defense in overtime. I don't. I think they marched down the field easily and score a touchdown and the game's over because overtime is unfair. Every team should have an opportunity to touch the ball, barring a turnover, I'd say. But even if you score a touchdown first, the other team should have a shot, unless there's a turnover. So overtime sucks so hard. That's why you go for it on 4th and 1.
There we go. So is there anything else you want to add before we sign off what should have been a short
I am episode? Exhausted. Let's please end this. Like, it's crazy because, like, at the top of the show, we were like, it's just week 6. I don't care. And now here I am. I think I need to go to hospital.
So right. So we'll call it there. What should have been a short episode before we run over a little bit. We've obviously got the bye week coming up, so chance for the players to recoup. What hopefully we're getting the special guest in, and I hope you guys out there have actually got the idea of who the guest is. It's a former Bills player, obviously offense, and from 1996 to 2005, he was a Buffalo Bills player. I hope you guys know it out there. Please do let us know on Twitter. Also, let's get mailbag going. Let's get your questions.
That's good for the bye week. Yeah.
We love the questions after the game and all that. Let's have your questions during this week, and we'll answer them on the show. So at UK_Bills on Twitter, at RWBB_podcast on Twitter, Buffalo Bills UK on Facebook, and YouTube UK_Bills on Instagram. And keep following, subscribing, hitting like, word of mouth, spreading the news of the Bills Mafia. If you haven't seen it, we got a mention on the Channel 5 Monday Night Football broadcast. The video's up on there. So keep liking, keep growing this fan base. And for Alex, this is Matt saying good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Thank you for listening. Enjoy the bye week off. Make sure you subscribe and follow. And let's go Buffalo Bills.
Go Bills.